What's going on, YouTube? How's it going today? So, as you saw in the title, we're going to do how to create a trading plan. Got lots of good stuff for you today. It's going to be pretty simple, actually. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got about 6 things we're going to go over. I'll get those written down. And just super simple trading plan that hopefully can help you guys become profitable if you're not. So let's go. Alright, so I just got a chart up as a background. Has no relevancy to what we're doing at all, but notepad will. So first thing you want to think about when you're doing a trading plan is you want it to be tailored to you. Because if you copy someone else's trading plan, it's not going to work for you, you know what I mean? So the first thing you want to do is you want to figure out trading time. A little space there, make that look a little more better. So your trading time. This, ideally, you would want to pick during a session. So like your New York session, your London session, maybe your NYSE session, Asian session, whatever session you're available to trade. And the trick with figuring this out is if you want to trade New York, but you can only show up to the chart for that New York session once a week, maybe. But let's say you can show up to the Asian session every single session on time, based on like your schedule, your life, whatever you got going on. You want to pick the one that you can consistently get to at the proper time. So I'm going to put mine down. So mine is 2 a.m. Well, actually right now, 1 a.m. the time change to 6 a.m. So that's the first thing. You need to figure out what time works for you. When can you always be at the chart? Because if you pick a time, like I said, where you can only show up every so often, it's not consistent, not the time. You want to pick up a different time. Next, number 2. Like I said, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 things. It's gonna be super simple. I'm gonna kind of break down each thing. Second thing is gonna be your pair. So every pair is gonna move different in every session. So depending on the session you're looking at, you want to make sure first of all that pair is in session. So if you're doing the Asian session, any yen pair, any AUD pair, I believe Swiss franc is in session. So any of those pairs for your Asian session are going to work. AUD JPY works really good for the Asian session. But if you're doing like London session, GJ is a really good pair for London session. So for me, that's when I'm looking at the chart is London and pre-New York. So I'm going to put GJ. And the thing is, you want to make sure your pair is consistent as well. So you're always showing up to the charts at the proper time, at the same time, right? So then you want to also be making sure you're looking at the same pair at the same time to just kind of figure out how it moves during that session with that volume. Because each session is going to have volume. And depending on what pair you're looking at, things could look a little bit different session to session. Now, ideally, any type of like strategy and whatnot should work for the most part, but it's just easier to really master 1 or 2 pairs with the same time always being at the charts. So GJ is my pair. You can do any pair. I would say don't look at more than 2, because what I found is when you're looking at more than 1 to 2, like for me, if I look at more than 1, I tend to be looking to go I'm like going to find a setup when I should be letting the setup come to me and just waiting for it. So I mean, if I had 3, or there was a time I had like 3, 4, 5 pairs, and what I noticed I was doing is I was just flipping through the pairs all the time, trying to go find a setup so I could take a trade and be done. But I've noticed, for me at least, the results are incredibly better when I just have a 1 pair and I sit and I wait until I see what I want to see. If I don't see it during my trading time, I'm done. That's it. Go to the next day. And when you're kind of picking these things, maybe go on TradingView, put your session times on so you know, like here, you know, like I know in the Asian session, this is when I'm on the chart. So this is the information that is relevant to me. Nothing in here is relevant to me. And when I'm on the chart here, this is what's relevant to me. None of this is relevant. So maybe throw those session timers on, just a free indicator on TradingView, and then you can kind of back test and see, okay, well this pair moves good at this time. Okay, so this is when I can come to the charts. We move good, or or vice versa. Like, okay, when I can get to the charts here, one of the options, it doesn't work good, so this option's better. So flip through the pair and the time you're looking at, and see if that pair moves good, has good volume, and then see if it consistently has good volume throughout that time you'd be on the chart, because that's also going to be important. So third one is just going to be whatever rules or strategy you follow. Make sure you follow that. Gonna have another video on this coming up, breaking down the rules and strategy in a little more depth. But so for me, the rules strategy is kind of the same thing. It's on the charts from 1 to 6, GJ only, and I think it might be even 1 to 5 or 2 to 6, based on for my trading time. So between there, I get about 3-4 hours. That's all I need. And then one trade, and I trade lower highs and higher lows on the 15-minute. That's it. So whatever yours, and again, I'll have a video breaking that down in more depth as well. But for the sake of the trading plan, whatever your rules or your strategy is, you want to make sure that you are following that. So that's like rules inside of rules. These are like your general rules, and then that's like your executing your trade kind of rule. Like what allows you to enter the trade, basically. Number 4, we got a big one. What is your risk per day? I like to do it in percentages. Some people like a set risk, and they just only take trades that are 10 pips. That works too, whatever. For me, 1 to 2%. That works perfect. Nothing more. Because that can be, I mean, depending on your risk to reward, that 1 to 2% could be 2 to 4%. And that alone, one trade, that's already a really good week. So, again, you don't need to take a ton of trades. So your risk, just make sure that's consistent as well. So, like, the importance of the risk part is, let's say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you risk 1%, and you take it 1 to 1, and you make 3%. And then, let's say Thursday, Friday, you risk 2%, and you lose both Thursday, Friday. So you had 3 winners and 2 losing days, and now you're in the negative 1%. So your risk to reward will play into that. Also, the fact that you change the risk like that, now you kind of gotta get into next week and consistently stay at that 2%. So then you have more of a consistent risk. As you'll notice, everything has to do with consistency, and that plays a big part in actually trading profitably consistently. So that's kind of the whole structure of how I like to do things. And then the last one, also very important, is the number of trades per day or session. So if you're trading 1 session, maybe just do 1 trade a day. If you're trading 2 sessions, maybe do 1 trade total. You can take 1 in that first session or 1 in the second session, or you can do 1 each session. Kind of depends on what you're doing. For me, it's 1 a day. Typically, if I get 1 in the London session, I don't try to take 1 in Asian, but if I do see 1 in Asian, then I'll just do lower risk. So you can always kind of tweak that one a little bit too. Like if your main session, like for me, London's my main session, I'll do the 1 to 2% risk. But then in Asian, if something nice still sets up, we could throw like 1/4% or 0.5% at it, just so if we lose that, we didn't ruin our day. But that's all you got to do, guys. Super short, quick video. Find your trading time, find your pair, whatever your rules and strategies are. I'll have another video out this week or early next week, to kind of break down what you can do for this. Your risk 1 to 2% is good, but again, this is everything here is preference. So if you're comfortable doing 4 to 5% risk, I mean, it's your plan, so it's all up to you. But this is the kind of the structure and the format that I go about everything that I do, and everything I teach and everything we go over in the group is really structured, really simple. 5 quick little rules, and then the rules and strategy, ideally you'd like to keep also pretty simple as well. And the simpler you can keep your trading plan, the easier it's going to be to do this whole trading thing and really get good at it, because then you won't have, if you have less variables to work with, it's going to be easier to weed out the crappy ones and figure out which ones work and which ones don't. So if you're trading, right, and you got, let's say, 20 different things to like check off to take a trade, or 20 different rules and things to check off, like whatever, all combined. Having 20 means you have to figure out if something's going wrong. One or multiple of those 20 things could be the issue, versus if you have 3 or 4, or in this case 5, it's a lot easier to weed out what's working and what's not working, which then kind of, you can't really speed up the trading process, but it kind of helps you get a grasp on things a little bit quicker because it's simpler and it's easier to understand. So hopefully the video was good, guys. If you like it, be sure to like and subscribe down below, and I will see you guys next time.